So, Nicholas, Red Sox make any trades? Did they? It is 6:05, and no, team still stinks. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, Yorkshire Gooniverse and Geeks Worldwide Radio proudly presents to you the greatest. I mean the greatest. We've got our quote on the cover of fucking comic books to prove that we are the greatest podcasting team in the world, baby! Nicholas, my guy, we are the TLDR Comic Book Club. How you doing?
I have new life just from that intro alone, and I needed that, Joe. I need today's show, this week's show, more than many that we've done. It's been one of those. It's been a long week since I've seen you. Some good things, some not so good things, and a whole lot of stuff in between. But I am ready to talk, and I forgot that you did get in the mail some important trade paperbacks.
I did. For those watching, you can't quite see it. We've tweeted it out enough. We've thrown it on Instagram. For those watching, boom, extreme close up. There it is. That's our quote, baby. It's so good. An absolute home run. TLDR Comic Book Club on the cover of a fucking comic book. Nicholas, we have fucking made it.
That's our quote. That's our rate. You have to. That's what you have to pay us every time now. That's how it works.
$2 million. Even if I do a bad job. They still send me comic books.
Yeah. Oh man, it's never not going to be cool, and we can tell you too. Like this may or may not be the last time you see that. But we'll save that for another day. But awesome stuff there, Joe. And there is some AWA stuff that's going to be coming out this month. We do have our solicit. But as a reminder, as much as you can still watch us right now, wherever you're streaming us, whether it's on Twitter, Docs, Twitch, over on our YouTube page, TLDR Comic Book Club, a reminder that you want to subscribe to our audio channel still, even if you prefer just watching us, because that's the only place, the audio channels, whether it's Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, as long as Stitcher's around, Geeks Worldwide Radio, SoundCloud, Amazon. That's the only place you're going to get our Friar side chats. Those are when we talk to creators across the industry, artists and writers, sometimes editors, occasional CCO of companies, a range of people. We got to mix in some colorers and some letterers at some point down the line. But conversation for another day. And when you subscribe to those channels, or again, you'll get that delivered right to your listening device every time. You don't need our warning that we'll give out on Twitter or maybe on Instagram. They'll just go right to your listening device. You'll be all set. Make sure you leave a rating and review. If it's iTunes, 5 stars only. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of Backcracker. Wherever else is you're leaving a rating and review, whatever the highest rating is, please do that. It helps the show out a ton. And tell a fellow comic book reader about the show. They will not regret learning about us. That's for damn sure.
Damn Skippy.
All right. Yeah. Now that we got all that out, Joe, let's get to catching. I'm taking a deep breath after that. And now we're getting to catching up. Before we get into the only thing that everybody gives a shit about, I want to say that I did read the first issue of this Blade series. It was off to a good start. I'm definitely ready for the second one. I'm just going to leave it there. We'll circle back on the second one. But if you haven't picked it up already, go do that. I was a little bit behind. But, Joe, that is by no means the number one book that we both had to catch up on since we last convened.
Holy smokes. So I've been reading X-Men number one since it sort of rebooted with I believe it's Jerry Duggan. And I've enjoyed his time on this book, on this series so far. It's been really good, and I've talked about the last several issues. Hell, even the last arc, just leading up to the Hellfire Gala, was absolutely epic. Was excellent stuff. They were doing some great stuff there, setting things up. With Krakoa. They've been teasing the fall of X, the fall of Krakoa. Then we get the Hellfire Gala, which was just. Holy shit, Nicholas, was this an absolute fucking... This was a book, man. This was just balls to the wall. Like, we talked about, like, the Hellfire Gala over the past 3 years that they've done it. It's just been, like, it's sort of like what WrestleMania is to, WWE. It sets up the year ahead, right? You expect big shit to happen. You expect some swerves, and holy shit. Did we get it? Was just, I don't throw the word epic around. This is the second time I use it when talking about the X-Men right here, but like this was an epic issue. This was, this makes the previous 2 Hellfire Galas look like fucking nothing. Looks like,
Yeah.
minor events compared to what we get here. And this was a book that, like, we knew it was coming, we just didn't know how.
Yeah. Or we didn't know what either, of course.
Well, true. But like, we had, like, you walk into this, if you've been reading X-Men and you're familiar enough with it, maybe like, you're like Nicholas over here. You've been fully caught up on X-Men, but you're generally aware
Hmm.
of Krakoa and sort of what's been going on. But you had an idea. I mean, the fall of X has a certain implication to it,
Hmm.
right? Like, you have an understanding of what is probably gonna happen, but it's the how and the execution, and I mean execution,
Yeah.
that
So
absolutely blew my doors off.
we've been talking about how this was the thing you had to pick up. I talked about the Sins of Sinister event. I read that because that was written by Kieran Gillen, Al Ewing, and Cy Spurrier. And their titles are ones that I had been reading, specifically X-Men Red and Immortal X-Men. And I really enjoyed that whole event. It was again, like, Kieran Gillen writing Mr. Sinister is just like it's like he was born to do that. But we learned around that time of the event that the fall of X was coming. And that's been we've mentioned that many times. We've been saying that we keep hearing Hellfire Gala is going to be the series you need to pick up if you want to get in on the fall of X. 100% accurate. If you have not been up to date, or even if you haven't been reading some of these things, you can get it. You can read the Hellfire Gala as long as you're generally aware of Krakoa. As long as you read, like, Powers, was it? I always forget. It's like House of X and Powers of 10, right?
Correct.
Okay. Sometimes I feel like I get that right every time, even though I always second guess myself. Anyways, if you as long as you read those and have a general idea of what the outcome was, you can still read this and have and like appreciate it. Holy shit, I'm still like blown away.
Yeah.
If we were to talk about like the best single issue of a year, it would be this. There's nothing that's there's been some really good stuff throughout the year that we've talked about, but this is like jaw droppingly good.
Yeah, like, this issue in and of itself was an event, right?
Yep.
And there was a lot of build up to it. This book was so good that I passed up reading another number one this week, so that I could read X-Men 25, just because I wanted X-Men that much.
Hmm.
And I literally haven't been this geeked up for X-Men since House of X and since Powers of 10.
Yeah.
And that event was great. And then sort of what followed it just kind of fell a little flat. And then, like I said, when Jerry Duggan picked it back up and sort of rebooted it, it's been this is the most I've been engaged in X-Men since, the 90s.
Yeah, that's awesome. That and
Yeah.
this like, for anybody who's taking a break, who like for me, like, where Joe was a little bit down on a lot of the Krakoa stuff and still reading X-Men, I was reading some other stuff, but it's so overwhelming, and like we want to read other things, not just X-Men. It was hard to be in on all of it. So we've both been aware, but for those who haven't and maybe have taken a break, this is the time to get back in. And I mean, read Hellfire Gala and you will see why. And Joe, you and I were talking about this before the show, where I've been behind on X-Men. If I really wanted to, I could just skip like the issues that I'm behind and then read this latest issue, because everything that's transpired is going to everything that happened in Hellfire Gala is all that's going to matter for all the X-Men stories that are placed in the present.
Yeah. The previous stuff, like I said, the last arc was all just a setup to what happened in Hellfire Gala. So if you want to know, if you read Hellfire Gala and it's like, okay, you got it, you understood because you had a general sense of Krakoa and all that, um, that's great. But if you want to have a little bit more idea of what sort of went into it, then I didn't read, the Sinister books like you had, or some of those
Mm-hmm.
other books, because you could literally do nothing but read X-Men comics week in and week out and still be
Yep,
sort of overloaded, right?
100%.
So I just kind of kept it. I told myself I'm going to keep it to the main line, but that last arc leading, because the shit with MODOK and the stuff with the Krakoan drugs and the medicines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get how that all unfolded. And that was really awesome stuff,
Dude,
right?
so it's
So you don't have to. I recommend it, but like I said, you don't have to. You could, if you've read Hellfire Gala and you want to kick up and start fresh, you can read issue 25, which drops this week, which we'll get to in just a second, and be very satisfied and not skip a beat.
Yeah, hit after hit after hit in that issue, that one issue, and it's an oversized issue, but it's just like, one thing after another, and it's like, holy shit. And then you
Hit
get to
after
the
hit is no joke.
and then you get to the end, and it's like, I mean, this is it right here. Like,
Yeah.
holy fuck, man, it's so
Yeah.
good. It was amazing. So must read stuff if you give an inkling of a shit about the X-Men. Plain
Yeah.
and simple. All right, so we got a huge solicit this week because we have 5 weeks in the month of August. Of course, we generally try to start our solicits with, well, we always do with what's new, but usually it's sometimes we do it a little early and it gets crazy. But we have what's new, Joe. Let's start off with Marvel, where there is some new X-Men stuff, but we didn't get to read all of these as much as we want to get in on all of this.
Yeah. So what's new? August solicit week of 8/2/23. We have Moon Knight issue 26. X-Men 25, as we just mentioned. This was, if you're a Kitty Pride fan, you're
Oh,
not gonna want to miss this issue. Holy smokes. Yeah, man, good shit. Fantastic Four issue 10, Scarlet Witch issue 7, Doctor Strange issue 6, Yoda issue 10, and then we have a bunch of number ones, one of which we want to discuss. I didn't get a chance to read it because I wanted to make sure I read X-Men, but you'll dive into it in just a second. But we have Astonishing Iceman issue 1, written by local guy Steve Orlando with art by Vincenzo Caruto. We have Magneto issue 1, written by J.M. DeMatteis with art by Todd Knock. We have What If Dark Venom issue 1, written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Jethro Morales. We have Star Wars Dark Droids issue 1, written by Charles Soule, who has been doing so much Star Wars Darth Vader stuff, over the years. He is the guy. He is the writer for Star Wars comics right now. We have Strange Academy, Miles Morales issue 1, and Star Wars Thrawn trade paperback. I want to mention this real quick. So Star Wars Thrawn trade paperback, written by Timothy Zahn, Jody Hauser, with art by Luke Ross. So you talked about this book on the show a while back. I've been listening to the audiobook in which it's based on. So I've started reading the comic. I'm not quite done the audiobook, but I'm almost done. So I've started reading the comic, and it's what the comic is. It's a very truncated version of this. Like the dialogue is ripped straight from the book. So you get it, and it's an awesome comic so far. It really does like adhere to the events as they happen in the book. But I will tell you this: if get the book, buy the novel, or get the audiobook and listen to it, because all the stuff that happens in the comic, especially that first issue, is like several hours, in the audiobook. And just the way Thrawn works, the classic playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. It makes you want to just be Team Empire. And you want to do nothing but take down the rebels. And that's the thing about Thrawn, is like he doesn't have skin in the game. He's just, the way it transpires on how he gets sort of captured by the Empire, and then how he gets himself in there. He's just there because that's his job. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have skin in the game. So if you love Thrawn, I would highly recommend reading this trade paperback, picking it up, but also getting your hands on the novel.
Thrawn's
It's excellent.
badass. Thrawn
He really is.
I
And
can't wait
and
for it to
and
come.
his translator there, his interpreter there, Ensign Eli Canto, excellent in the book. Excellent.
Mm,
So I would definitely recommend getting your hands on the novel as well. But the
cool.
book this week from Marvel that we want to discuss is Death of the Venom Verse, issue 1, written by friend of the show Cullen Bunn with art by Gerardo Sandoval.
Yeah, Gerardo Sandoval, and then the cover artist for the main cover is Bjorn Bardens, who we've seen quite a bit of Spawn stuff, among other things. But you get this like crazy Carnage Venom combo where he's kind of looking like a Viking-ish kind of character, looks badass. So I saw that you wanted to talk about it, so I made sure I gave this a look because I was excited when I saw that Cullen was writing this, like Death of the Venomverse. Like anytime you're bringing an end to something, it's like it has potential to be pretty cool. Look at Hellfire Gala, where it's at least an end of a chapter for the X-Men. But Death of the Venomverse, like what the hell is this? And it's all about like Carnage basically hunting down Venoms across the multiverse. And it's like you see like a few different where we've seen in other Venom stories where like different Marvel heroes have the Venom symbiote. I don't want to name names in this one because there are a few that we get here, but where we've seen that he's like hunting some of them down because they have something that's going to make him more powerful. We don't fully understand his entire motive, but he's doing that, and then we're seeing some other Venoms that maybe he's not hunting down, but they know he's up to some shenanigans and they want to kind of put an end to it. So it's really this fun kind of chaotic thing. And with it, and see, anytime I'm seeing Carnage in the mix, I'm generally going to be interested, especially when he's just like all out violence and wants to just like, when Carnage is being Carnage, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, and then on the Venom side, like we're seeing Agent Venom get involved and a few other cool looking variants of Venom. So I'm very excited coming out of this first issue. Like this is like I can't like it's been a little bit since I had like a Marvel book that was like a first issue, not counting like the Hellfire Gala where we just talked about that.
Right.
Whereas like the first issue, start of a mini event, whatever, how you want to look at it. I'm very excited coming out of the first issue of Death of Venomverse.
Yeah, and Cullen teased this when we had him on last time that he was doing something again with Marvel, and
That's right.
and so we were trying to guess what it was. But this is awesome, and I'm glad he's doing some stuff with Marvel again. He's got a lot of stuff coming out. He's got a lot of many fingers and many pies. So that I can't wait to get my hands on this and read it.
Two things before we move on to DC. Astonishing Iceman, just for everybody who's wondering, it is part of the Fall of X event that's now begun because of the Hellfire Gala. Just wanted to put that out there. Magneto, which I did read, is set in the past. Solid. I don't know if I'm going to read the first issue, but it was fine. I don't even read the second issue, excuse me. Anyways, moving on. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. From DC, this week we have Night Terrors, Batman, the Joker, Poison Ivy, and Ravager. We have the Justice Society of America, Adventures of Superman, John Kent, issue 6, Peacemaker Tries Hard, issue 4. I love this series. Can't wait to talk about it on here. City Boy, issue 3, Steelworks, issue 3, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, issue 123, and then a couple other first issues. We got the Sandman Universe special, Thessaly, issue 1 by James Tynion IV and Maria Levette. Then we got Blue Beetle Graduation as a trade paperback by Josh Trujillo and Adrian Gonzalez.
I wonder if he's going to bitch about playing day games after night games. Right. Oh, wrong, Adrian Gonzalez. Might be. Real quick, Adventures of Superman, John Kent, issue 6. That's the end of that series. So it was just a quick. It looks like it's going to continue on. But it was excellent. I read it. Absolutely loved it. Image for this week. We have Spawn 344. Love Everlasting, not Lover Everlasting. Joseph, Jesus Christ. Get your shit together.
That's two typos for you. Unbelievable.
What was the other typo?
Justice Society of America. You didn't have society in there. It's just Justice of America.
Oh, yeah, yes. Whatever. Oh, also, when it comes to DC, it's Night Terrors number 2, and then Night Terrors, Batman, Joker, Poison Ivy.
Well, again, you
Ravager,
didn't make
number
that clear, so that's on you. I'm Ron Burgundy, so
yeah, you are. Love Everlasting, issue 10, Black Cloak, issue 6, Junk Rabbit, issue 5, Packless, issue 7. Hey, kids, comics, schlock of the new, issue 5, and then we have trade paperback, Time Before Time, issue 4, and then 2 number 1s. We have Quest, issue 1, written by Crystal Wood. And with art by Jonathan Luna, and then a book that initially was highlighted purple. So the color coding system here in the notes, if it's blue, it's a book I'm reading. If it's red, it's a book Nicholas is reading. And if it's purple, it's one that we share. So image number 1, I highlighted it purple. So, with the hopes that we both read it and talk about it real quick. This is Sacrificers issue 1, written by Rick Remender, who I love Remender's work.
He's awesome.
With art by Max Fumara. And I got 2 pages into this, and I texted Nick and I said, it's all yours. And it had nothing to do about the quality of the story or the writing, but it revolves around bird characters, oddly designed and drawn, and I couldn't do it. I said, nope, I can't. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show before, but to know me is to know 2 things. I am chicken shit and scared of everything, and that birds, I am absolutely fucking terrified of birds. Like full on anxiety. I don't even fucking hang out on my side porch because between my house and my neighbor's house. There's these rows of little trees, and there's bird nests in them. One side of the fucking Blue Jays, one side of the Cardinals, and they fucking hate each other. And it's like the Sharks and the Jets, and they just do fucking fight all the time. And I can't handle it.
Really?
Oh, it's fucking brutal. So like,
Huh.
I saw this and I go, nope, I'm out, because they're like half pigeon, half hawk. I don't know. It would freak me out, man. I couldn't do it.
That's
Couldn't do it.
that's amazing. I didn't know that you had that issue on your.
It's so bad that when we're at the beach, Violet shoos the seagulls away.
Oh, really? Wow. I've definitely had some times recently where I've seen like birds. I think it was a turkey, and I'm just like, oh, Lauren, get a picture of that so we can send it to Joe. She never does it.
Back in the fall, I sat in my car for 20 minutes until the fucking turkeys left. I wouldn't get out of my fucking car.
So what you're telling me is that your ultimate nightmare would be like a bird, like a bird story like this, but like full on horror.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. Just wouldn't. No. And as you saw, I texted you. So tell the people about this fine book, because I can't.
I liked it. I did. And it's just funny when you said that. I was like, I saw the birds and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And in this moment, I didn't think, like, when I was reading it, I didn't think, oh, yeah, Joe's not going to like this because there's birds involved. I guess just because of the art, I figured it's easier to dissociate. But in this, we meet this family, and it's like the bird family. I guess they kind of like Blue Jays. Not really on the up and up when it comes to birds.
Blue Jays are assholes, mind you. They are real fucking assholes.
You're just upset because they're not going to win the World Series, and you bet.
Well, I might have put a little skin on them. I love the baseball team, Blue Jays. You hear that, Lemire? I love the Blue Jays. Please come on our show. But I hate the Blue Jays. They are fucking assholes.
But one of these characters, these members of this family, seems like a real asshole. Because this is right at the start of it. We see this family sitting down to eat dinner. Got 4 kids, mom, dad, and then this other Blue Jay shows up at the window trying to get food from one of the kids. And it turns out that this is a member of the family. And the dad won't let him in the house. He's keeping him in the barn. And he pulls out the belt and just lets the kid have it. And then it's like, okay, well, what is this? I didn't even know at first if it was the kid. And you find out later on, you're able to fully put the pieces together. And of course, by the end of it, you're like, oh, fuck. Now it all kind of makes sense. And it's doesn't make it okay what happened. It's not good behavior. But
fucking birds got slick back hair.
Real piece of shit. White couch. Sloppy steaks at Trefani's on Tuesday. White bathing suit. Anyways, so yeah, no, but you find out by the end of it why the dad was doing this to his child, and it's like, God, this freaking sucks. But it's and again, it's just it's, to me, this is a very evenly, there are some high moments, but it's a very evenly paced first issue. And then you get to the end, and instead of it being this gotcha, holy shit thing, it's leaves you with this well, that fucking sucks ending. And I'm ready to go for the second issue. It was really good. And it feels like I know I was talking about food before, and that's supposed to be a pun, but it felt like a whole meal of a first issue. So I was very satisfied after reading The Sacrifices issue 1.
Yeah, Remender's an excellent writer.
Yep.
So I was really bummed that he chose bird characters, because I won't be reading it.
Yep. What can you do? Then we move over to Skybound, of course, publishes through Image. The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 68, of course, this is just The Walking Dead being republished in color. Then we got our friends over at AWA Studios, Joe, where you are going to be talking about the Ed Brisson book they got going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been gushing about this book since the first issue came out. This is Sins of the Salton Sea, issue 3. Ed Brisson, writer, CP Smith, the artist. It's high octane. It's a great story. It's a very depressing story. And this issue, the issue 2, literally ended with a fucking bang. And issue 3 sort of fills in a lot of, of the why, what's really been at the precipice of what kicked this story off. And the villain in this, he really fucking sucks. But there's a great cat and mouse game now that's going on with this. So it's starts off you're thinking you're getting into a crime book, and now it's sort of becoming more of a, then you think maybe it's a mystery, and now it's just like it's a fucking survival story now at this point.
Nice.
And it's just it again, CP Smith's art is absolutely fantastic, and it's sort of got that Texas Blood. I think Jacob Phillips is the colorist on that. Like it's like that same sort of similar color palette. So it's just
I think he's the artist. Like he's doing the
yeah,
lines and the
yes,
colors.
yeah. So this is just a really great book, and I will definitely be talking about this on the show. I threw some we got the asset pages that AWA sent us. I used some of those and threw that on our Instagram post today, so you can get a
Mm-hmm.
sense of some of the dialogue and the interior art as well as the awesome cover art. So like again, like AWA has not missed in a very long time.
Mm.
Right. I can't do where it's July, right? I can't remember them missing over the
August.
past year. August, right? It's been a year. When was the last time I was kind of like, on an
It's been a bit.
AWA book, right?
It's been a bit.
And even then, like the book's still really, so like, but they've just banger after banger after banger after banger after banger, and this is a good one. So if you can go out to your local comic book shop, if you can find, if they've got, the past couple issues on sale, grab them. If not, see if they can order them. Again, we don't ever tell people to trade weight unless, we know that our quotes are going to be on the cover. But if you haven't been reading this, but it sounds like a book you want to read, then definitely tell them FOC you want the trade paperback. You get it. This is a book you just simply don't want to miss.
Yeah, that's that, and also too on that end where you're talking about sharing all the preview pages from AWA. That's another great reason to follow us over on Instagram. Joe does a great job and generally does a lot of the stuff over there. And but that's like one thing that you've kind of started doing with the AWA preview pages where I don't know of other places that are doing that. So that's some pretty cool access that you guys are only going to get over on our Instagram and I'm assuming sometimes Threads, but we're still kind of figuring out that
Blue
whole landscape.
Sky.
Yeah, I
Another
don't know.
goddamn social media platform now. I
It's
can't keep them
so
straight.
friggin' annoying. But anyways, we digress. From Boom, we got Once Upon a Time at the End of the World issue 8, Fence Redemption issue 3. We got a first issue, Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer, which is by Casey Gilly and Oriel Roig. But
Roy.
I'm going to check this one out because I know we read Last Vampire Slayer and it was kind of like, okay. But this seems like they're taking another crack at it. I am open to testing that out with Buffy because Buffy's one of those characters who like I enjoyed the show as much as that may or may not have made my top 50 shows list. I enjoyed the show and it's a character who I wouldn't mind spending some more time with. But the Boom book that I did get to read, and did you get to read this?
Oh, come on, son.
Grim,
son?
Grim, issue 12 out this week, of course, by Stephanie Phillips and Flaviano. We get a lot with Jessica Harrow's mother in this, who I believe is who we left off with in issue 11. But what's kind of, we get some more with the brewing team up that's going on here, and that's all cool. But the stuff with the mom, I really enjoyed. But the ending is like vicious.
Yes.
That's quite the image that's going to sit with us. And it's also like, what is happening? Like, there's just like, somebody's fucked something, made a decision on something, and it's going to fuck up a lot of shit. And a lot of stuff's already been messed up pretty significantly. And now this development with this larger issue has happened, or this, I guess, side issue that's been brewing. What does it mean? I have zero clue.
Yeah. This arc has been about double cross, right? It's been fantastic storytelling, and it's been keeping you on your toes. Stephanie Phillips been keeping you on your toes. I didn't see anything in this. I don't think I've accurately been able to kind of see where this story has been going from the get-go. It's that unique, right? And I think just the way the story is unfolding, it's just the added wrinkles that get fucking added to it, issue after issue. I can't fucking talk. Get added to it issue after issue is really something else. This is again, this is another book you guys should be reading.
Yeah, Joe talked about it on the show already. I did in our trade too. I circled
Hmm.
back on it. This was Grimm is right up my alley. So if you tend to like stuff that the stuff that I really scratches that itch for me, like Grimm is one of those things, one of the books that you should be reading right now.
There's also
Uh,
a cream for that.
Thank you. All right, you want me to fly through all of these so we can get to the second week of the solicit?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Dark Horse, Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, issue 7, The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue 2, which is by James Tynion the Fourth, and Joe is enjoying. Order and Outrage, issue 4. Then for first issues, we got Hellboy and the BPRD 1957, issue 1. That's, of course, by Mignola and Chris Roberson. Then we got Black Hammer Omnibus, volume 2. The trade paperback is out. Then IDW, TMNT, The Last Ronin of the Lost Years, issue 5, which Joe is hate reading, and I have given up on. Star Trek Defiant, issue 6. Star Trek DS9, The Dog of War, issue 5. Dark Spaces, Good Deeds, issue 3. My Little Pony, issue 15. And then the trade paperback of True Cult, which is actually the U's or V's. So I'm assuming we're saying it right. Titan, we have Heat Seeker, issue 2. Dead by Daylight, issue 2. And then we got the first issue of Conan the Barbarian. That's by Jim Zub and Roberto De La Torre. Conan's out there. Like, anybody can get in on him now is the whole thing. I don't fully understand it,
And
but
I think, let me just double check real quick, because I think this will be the second week in a row where we can talk about our friend Sheldon. Does he have another cover for this book as well?
does he? That
I
rings a
think
bell.
yes. It was Red Sonja. Oh, maybe it was Red Sonja.
Okay, Red Sonja.
Right.
Okay.
I thought he had a it's a guy Sheldon. I apologize if I butchered all that, but I thought he had something for Conan, but um yeah, anyways.
He's always got
So
stuff. He's
I'm
always
sure
got stuff
I'm
brewing.
sure he'll correct me on that. So I got all excited there to mention Sheldon again. We'll always mention Sheldon. He's a great friend of ours. So
Absolutely. Then we got Robotech Rick Hunter, issue 1, by Brandon Easton and Simone Ragazzoni. That's also from Titan. Then from Mad Cave, we got the first issue of Project Reese by Zach Thompson and Jeff McCumsey. Are you going to be checking this one out?
100%, because McCumsey was he did what was that book for AWA with the car dealership guys there?
The Fourth Man.
Yes, thank you. Which was absolutely
Yeah,
excellent. So this is a World War II era book, and this looks absolutely fantastic to me. So this one sounds interesting, and I'm definitely going to give it a shot, strictly because McComsey is attached to it.
nice. And then from Dynamite this week, we have Gargoyles issue 8 and Fire and Ice issue 1 by Bill Wingham and Leonardo Manco, which brings us to, I think we're doing all right. We'll see though, the second week of August 9th, to really start this solicit. Joe, what's coming out on the week of August 9th?
All right. So from Marvel, we have The Amazing Spider-Man issue 31, Immortal X-Men issue 14, Spider-Man Annual issue 1. We get some annuals coming out randomly in the middle of the fucking year. Wild. Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 9, The Avengers issue 4, Star Wars issue 37, Guardians of the Galaxy issue 5, Red Goblin issue 7, Silk issue 4, Captain Marvel Dark Tempest issue 2. And then we have some, number ones here. Also some trade paperbacks. So the Invincible Iron Man Volume 1 is dropping that week. The Daredevil Epic Collection Into the Fire is dropping that week, as well as Avengers War Across Time. We have Children of the Vault, issue 1, written by Dennis Camp with art by Luca Maresca. I mentioned that because Children of the Vault might be playing a prominent role in the new or in the forthcoming arc of X-Men now that the Hellfire Gala has, happened. They
Okay.
are mentioned a few times in issue 25 of X-Men. But the biggie, Nicholas. Holy cow! Am I looking forward to this as I know you are? Let's put it that way. Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Alpha issue 1, written by Benjamin Percy with art by Jeff Shaw.
Yeah.
Logan and Blaze, the weapons of vengeance. Logan's the best there is at what he does, and what he does is as deadly as and what he does as the deadly Wolverine isn't very nice. Jesus, I can't read. When innocent blood is spilled, Johnny Blaze becomes the Ghost Rider, equipped to deal punishment with the power of hellfire. A demonic serial killer is murdering innocent mutants, but what is it about this deadly new villain that forces our two heroes to team up? And what buried secret does he share with Wolverine and Ghost Rider's never before seen very first meeting in the past? So,
okay.
Percy, he's writing both these fucking titles right now. So if anyone understands these two characters, it's him. Love Jeff Shaw's art. So this book is going to be an absolute must-read, fucking banger right from the rip. I can feel it in my plums.
Been dying for this. Been like we heard about it a long while back, and it's like, okay, when's this gonna happen? When's this gonna happen? Like we just keep waiting to see it, and it's like, all right, August. Like the dates were probably out there. We just kind of ignored it. But yeah, I can't wait for Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Alpha 1 to drop next week. From DC Comics, the week of the 9th, we have Superman 2023 Annual, Night Terrors issue 3, Night Terrors issue 2 for Green Lantern, Robin, The Flash, Shazam, Zatanna. Then we have World's Finest Teen Titans issue 2, Danger Street issue 8, Spirit World issue 4, Batman Incorporated issue 11, Wildcats issue 10, Multiversity Harley Screws Up the DCU issue 6. And then we got a couple trades. Batman Volume 3 Ghost Stories. That was Tynan's last run on Batman. Batman Wayne Family Adventures Volume 1. And then The Joker Volume 2.
From Image, we have Gunslinger Spawn issue 23, Swan Songs issue 2, Kaya issue 10, Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland issue. I hate when it does that. Like it, it's just a formatting thing on my end. Monarch issue 6, Stoneheart issue 6, Weird Work issue 2, and a book that I am very much looking forward to. This was a surprise book for me when I first started reading it, because I was a little tardy to that Texas Blood Party. But the Enfield Gang Massacre issue 1, written by Chris Condon with art by Jacob Phillips. That Texas Blood duo returns to Ambrose County, Texas, with an all-new miniseries set 150 years in the past. Gunslinger action meets dark frontier drama in this original Western thriller as Montgomery Enfield and his gang of outlaws find themselves in the crosshairs of an aging Texas Ranger in a newborn county that's hungry for law. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you were going for the Texas accent there because I heard miniseries and I was like, it sounded like
miniseries.
It sounded like
well, that was an accent, but law was law. That one was for real. There was law everywhere. But miniseries, that was not me doing Hank Hill, despite it sounding like Hank Hill.
That's too bad. Trade paperback for Plush, and then Hexware Volume 1. We look over to AWA, and we got a first issue of a new series from AWA coming out, which I think you already called dibs on this.
Oh, baby, did I call dibs the moment I saw this? I said, fuck you, Friar. Dibs, baby. The kindness is over. You got Ribbon Queen. That is it. I am back, baby. But the Madness issue 1, written by J. Michael Straczynski with art by ACO, who was the artist, I believe, on American Ronin, which is a book I talked about on this show. Okay. Absolutely excellent. But the Madness. In the Madness, Sarah Ross has been using her power as a thief, stealing from her rich and keeping it, or stealing from the rich and keeping it. So sort of like a quasi Robin Hood. Until the day she stole from the wrong person, a highly placed official who pressures the government to assassinate her. The plot, aided by so-called good superheroes sponsored by the government, misses her but wipes out her family. Driven mad by grief and laser focused on revenge for the murder of her family, Sarah and a hidden side of her personality, an imaginary friend who may be more real than she believes, goes after these superhero operatives determined to take her revenge at any cost. Yes. Now, I believe we talk about superheroes here, and we know J. Michael Straczynski's history with AWA and superheroes. I believe this is not a Resistance Universe book.
I actually saw an announcement that he's going to be doing a lot of stuff with Dark Horse now.
Yes.
So there's
Yeah.
some change. Yeah, so there's some change going on there. I don't know what that means for the Resistance universe. But
I
yeah,
mean, I believe he's still on the creative council at AWA, but I don't know. This would be a good question to maybe, what we should do is try and get him on the show, because this man has created a lot of great books.
Hmm.
But yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff now for Dark Horse that's planned, and so I don't know. Is he done with AWA? Is he done with the Resistance? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Unless
I
we get
hope
him
not.
on.
I hope not.
I agree. Unless we get him on, it seems the only thing it's going to tell is time. But all right,
Yeah.
let's see. I'm going to fly through these other ones so we can get to the next week, because no other books that we wanted to break down. From Boom, we got House of Slaughter, issue 16. Damn Them All, issue 7. Damn Them All is back. Ghost Lore, issue 4. Mech Cadets, issue 1. That is by Greg Pak and Takeshi Miyazawa. And then we also got the first. Maybe I need to do Damn Them All for this week. Actually, looking at it coming up, because I did want to talk about that. Volume 1 is going to be dropping, as well as issue 7 coming out from Boom. Then we got Wind, book 3, The Throne in the Sky, and behold, Behemoth, which I know you want to talk about at some point. Right, you do want to talk about it at some point.
Yes. I was gonna talk about it, and I go, oh shit, this week we have I was gonna talk about that, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna
There's Mosley in that, yeah.
What was the book I was just gonna do? Night Fever. I was like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this because that just ended, and I go, fuck, it's Solicit Week. So but those are
I did Night Fever. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, Nightclub.
Nightclub. Okay, yes, that's right.
Nightclub.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm excited to read that. Okay, from Dark Horse, we got the second issue of Barnstormers, which is actually collecting the third and fourth issues of that series from Comixology. We already got the first and the second issue in the first Dark Horse issue. Also from Dark Horse, we got Masquerade issue 1, Survival issue 4 from friend of the show Sean Lewis, Murder Inc. Jagger Rose issue 4, Killer Queens 2. Kings Not Wings issue 1 by Dave M. Boer and Bradley Clayton. A couple trades. We got It's Only Teenage Wasteland and Us. It's Only Teenage Wasteland is a book that I did read and I had called dibs on. It's solid. It wasn't TLDR worthy in my estimation, but it is solid. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, if you're reading it and you like the back cover, maybe like, I want to give it a look. I don't know. Like, yeah, I'd say it's safe to go and give that a look. But it was just like, it's not. We try to have a high bar for TLDR, and it just came a little bit short on that. IDW, we got Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons, issue 2, Star Trek, The Motion Picture, Echoes, issue 4, My Little Pony, Best of Pinkie Pie, issue 1. Fuck you for making me reading that. Vault, we got Deadbox, issue 4. From Valiant, this must be the only thing coming out from them this month. XO, Man of War, Unconquered, issue 4. From Dynamite, we got Gargoyles, Dark Ages, issue 2. I missed the first issue of this. I need to check this one out. Barbarella, The Center Cannot Hold, issue 5. Then we got Vampirella, Dracula, Rage issue 1 by Christopher Priest and Christian Rosado. From Mad Cave, You've Been Canceled, issue 3. A Legacy of Violence, issue 8. And then from Mark Millar's Millar World, which publishes through Image, we have The Ambassadors of Volume 1 coming out on the week of the 9th.
That's another book I got to talk on the show.
Absolutely, yes, got quite a few. But why don't you talk first about the books coming out for the week of the 16th of August?
All right. So from Marvel Comics, we have it's a bittersweet book. Daredevil 14. This is the end of Zdarsky's run on Daredevil, and he's really closing his run out in style. I can't wait because I don't want it to end, but he's been doing it for a very, very long time, so I don't blame him. So Daredevil 14, looking forward to that. X-Men Red issue 14, Spider-Man issue 11, Darth Vader issue 37, Ghost Rider issue 17, Loki issue 3, Alien issue 5, Death of the Venomverse issue 2, X-Men Days of Future Past Doomsday issue 2, Groot issue 4. And then, we got a whole bunch of number ones here. As I just mentioned, Daredevil 14, the end. But of what? A life, a love, a marriage, Matt Murdock's time as Daredevil, or the latest and greatest run in one of Marvel's most celebrated sagas. Yeah, that's boom. Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck, I'm emotional. But we have Marvel Voices X-Men issue 1, the Invincible Iron Man annual issue 1, What If Dark Moon Knight issue 1, Uncanny Avengers issue 1. We have Alpha Fight issue 1. That's written by Ed Brisson. And then we have Dark X-Men issue 1, written by Steve Fox with art by Jonas Scharf.
Which I did want to talk about a little bit. So Alpha Flight, Dark X-Men issue 1, and Uncanny Avengers all seem to rope into the Fall of X event. So again, if you're kind of trying to keep track of things, different titles popping up, these are ones that you're going to want to be checking out. On the Uncanny Avengers cover that I saw, Deadpool was featured on there. I think it was Cable as well, if I'm not mistaken. But you'll have those 3 titles, and then you'll have X-Men Red issue 14 coming out that week. And then the Days of Future Past story, I think that's something like a different time. I did grab the first issue of that, but I haven't made the time to read it. But for Dark X-Men issue 1, this is by Steve, like you said, Steve Fox and Jonas Scharf, who Jonas Scharf was the artist on, what's the Cullen Bunn book from Boom? The Basilisk. That's what it was. Okay.
Yes.
He's the artist on Basilisk. Welcome to the Dark X-Men. Hope the world survives the experience. Following the explosive events of the Hellfire Gala, Madeline Pryor realizes the world needs the X-Men now more than ever. Havoc and Gambit have served on the team before, but never one that looks like this. And how does Gimmick, breakout star of Marvel Voices Pride, fall under the Goblin Queen's sway? Find out in the most horrific installment of the X-Men saga yet. So I actually didn't realize Gambit was in this. I just saw the cover and I was like, that looks fucking cool. And I remember Jonas Scharf, that the name I couldn't at the time didn't pinpoint. I was like, I want to check this one out. I want to check all this stuff out. But now Gambit's in it, and then Havoc too. Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is one I'm definitely, I've been trying to maintain just reading the mainline X-Men, although I did read the new Sinister series. What was it called?
Oh yeah, what the hell was that? I can't remember. Was it
I can't remember. It might have been. I don't know. It was excellent though. But this is one I definitely want to read. And side note, real quick, I've got to mention this because it's got my blood boiling. We're underdogs this year, and we tried to stay true to that. Fuck you, Heim Bloom. Jesus, you're the Boston fucking Red Sox. You should never be a goddamn underdog. Fucking asshole.
He said that.
Fucking asshole. He said that. Jesus. Oh, Nicholas. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing a Cardinals hat right now, so it's not much better, but at least not much was expected of them. Not much was expected of the Red Sox.
They just had a bad
Again, I may or may not have placed money on the Red Sox not winning over 78.5 games. But still, for fuck's sake, like, we're underdogs. We tried to embrace that. Fuck off.
What is it? The Cardinals, it's like, no, they were expected to do well, but they just haven't performed this year. It happens though sometimes. Like you just
I know. I mean,
Cardinals do well. The Cardinals, the Cardinals generally do well, especially against the Blue Jays, apparently. Anyways, from DC Comics for the week of the 16th, we got Night Terror Superman issue 2. The same goes for Nightwing, Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Punchline. Then we got Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Redder issue 2, The Vigil issue 4, Hawkgirl issue 2, Tales of the Titans issue 2, Batman White Knight Presents Generation Joker issue 4, Batman Superman's World's Finest issue 18, and then we get Penguin issue 0 from Chip Zdarsky and Belen Ortega. This is following Penguin's death in Batman issue 125, and there's more Penguin to come in this month.
Which, if you've been reading Zdarsky's Batman, there's more to this than what is listed here in the first sentence.
Yeah.
And so it looks like that Tom King is going to be writing a Penguin series. So this is maybe a precursor to that, and King's going to be taking over. So, like, again, if you've been reading Zdarsky's run on Batman, I talked about this way back when it happened, I think, in his first issue in the Failsafe arc.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
right, with Penguin dying, what the shit, and then sort of you find out more about that, as it goes on. So this I'll definitely read. I don't know if I'll read King's run on
Well,
it, even though he's just recently won an Eisner for a solo Batman book he's written. I can't
mhm.
remember which villain it was, but
I can't remember which one it was either. But Joe, have you been reading the backup stories in Batman?
I typically don't actually.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a collection of those. So
Oh, gotcha.
if you have that, then
Okay,
you'll
that
be
makes
fine.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I typically just read that and then
gotcha. Well, nothing wrong
um
with going buying it and supporting your Chip, and the
yeah,
art.
it's my chip. I'm gonna read my chip and only my chip.
All
Right?
right.
That's
Anyways,
what's gonna say on my tombstone. He loves his chip. From Image Studios, we have Something Epic issue 4, I Hate Fairyland issue 8, In Hell We Fight issue 3, Star Signs issue 4, which has been a great series. Very much
ooh,
enjoying that. Oh, did you say ooh or who?
ooh. No,
Oh,
I'm surprised
okay.
because I think I might have looked at this and been like, yeah. So
I've talked about it a few times.
yeah,
I've been enjoying it.
I didn't know. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, cheapers. Tales of Suspense issue 2, The Magic Order 4 issue 6, and then we have a number 1, The Cult issue 1, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Mateo de
Mm,
Lulis. That's a hard one. That's two L's right next to each other, in close proximity.
hmm
So I probably
But
butchered that, and I apologize.
this has an interesting
So I saw that, and I go, "Man, it makes me skeptical. I
yeah,
really don't like when books do that. Like you're setting a. I know Kelly Thompson is a tremendous writer, but you're
yeah,
setting a really high friggin' bar when you say something is killing the children horror vibes, mixed with Goonies style adventure. Those are two major
yep,
things. And if you're gonna compare it to that, you better deliver, right?
yeah.
That's
Tough
why I
one.
hate when they do that. Like I get the elevator pitches, but save the elevator pitches for the studios of which you're pitching them to. I
Yes,
don't want to go in
agreed.
this book thinking that because uh, it's either not going to meet my expectations or my expectations are it's going to be this. And if it's something that's I don't feel is that, then I'm going to be wildly. I'm going to probably be like, and
I
move on.
tend to agree. I tend to agree. And that is a like you said a very high bar from Skybound, who also publishes through Marvel. Busy Week, Void Rivals issue 3, The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 69, Dark Ride issue 8, and Arcade Kings issue 4. Then from Boom, we have the actual Something Is Killing the Children issue 32 of that. Dune House Harkonnen issue 8. Rare Flavors Ashcan, which is I think just a one-off like collection of stories. Sirens of the City issue 2. I talked about the first issue of that. Really enjoyed it. Kara Randolph is the artist on that series. Wild's End issue 3, and I've enjoyed the first two issues of it. I know you were out on it. And then we have the Many Deaths of Layla Starr Pen and Ink issue 1. Of course, this is Ram V and Felipe Andrade. So this is like a deluxe art focused format featuring stunning black and white interior artwork with the artist commentary.
This was an excellent series.
Right.
This is we talk about Ron V all the time. Like you're either in or you're out, right? And he's been doing a great job on Detective Comics. But this was the book for me that made me a Ron V fan. This was emotional. This was a deep book, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So I'm gonna pick this up because I loved what they did with the pen and ink with Something Is Killing the Children issue 1. So for them to do that with this
Mm,
book, I'm hoping to look at it sort of from a different perspective, like because when you strip the color away and you look at something in black and white, you inherently just look at it and view it differently.
sure.
But I also am looking forward to rereading the story again, because I might get. It's one of those. This is one of those series where I think you could read it several times and get more out of it each time you read it. But what
Gotcha.
I love about the pen and ink series in general is that usually in like there's footnotes from whether it's the author or the artist, and it gives you some insight, which I think is absolutely fantastic as a comic book reader,
Yeah.
and a fan. It's like watching the commentary, on DVDs back in the day,
Mm,
when that shit was,
a thing.
when people watched the DVDs,
If it is.
but not DVD-A. That's something completely different. But anyways, I digress. Those those, if you know, you know.
Okay.
But anyways,
From Dark Horse, you got Miss Truesdale in the Fall of Hyperbera, issue 4, The Lonesome Hunters, The Wolf Child, issue 2, Gru in the Wild, issue 2, Panya, The Mummy's Curse, issue 2, and Savage Squad 6, issue 2.
from IDW, we have TMNT issue 142. Sonic the Hedgehog for Your Nephew, issue 63. Bryn Mawr, issue 2. And then we have a couple of number ones here. We have Godzilla War for Humanity, issue 1. We have another Dark Spaces title, The Hollywood Special, issue 1, written by Jeremy Lambert with art by Claire Rowe. But a book, I know I just bitched about, TMNT, The Last Ronin, The Lost Years, and I went on a goddamn tirade about it last week as well. But this one, this book, this is not an Eastman, production. This is just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, issue 1, written by Henry Barajas, with art by Pablo Verdugo Munoz. When Splintered is, how'd I do, Nicholas?
I thought you did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. You are, our expert there. When Splinter is kidnapped, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles search for clues across New York City to find their master, with all signs pointing to the nefarious Foot Clan. April and Metalhead analyze artifacts recovered by the brothers to help zero in on where Splinter is being held. However, as the gang gets ever closer to Splinter's location, they start to uncover an even greater threat working from the shadows. So I love it. I love Metalhead. I've got a Metalhead figure, but you can't see back there with my other turtles. But this should be a lot of fun. I'm definitely give the first issue a chance here.
Nice. Yeah, it does look like a fun thing. I mean, Splinter being in trouble, I'm here for that. I might check this one out as well.
Oh, so I also back in way back when we started the solicit, in catching up, I did finally read TMNT Stranger Things. I mean, it's exactly what you think it is. It's a little silly. It's a mashup. It's
fine.
It's a fine read. You know,
I looked at that. I was like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's not.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I read the first issue because it's like, it's the mashup, and this should be fun. Right. And that's exactly what it was. It's fun. Like, this is something like I bet my nephew would enjoy. Right. Like, I would say, like, I wouldn't quite call it I'll fucking call it. It's a YA book, essentially. That's the kind of vibe I got from it, but it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. So boom,
let's see.
Back on track, baby. Back on track.
Vault. We have for the week of the 16th, Queen of Swords, a Barbaric Story, issue 2. You didn't get the review copy of this first one, but I picked it up. I think I talked about it on the show in some capacity. The first issue of this was really good. So this is, again, set in the world of Barbaric, a series I've talked about on the show. Definitely must read stuff from Vault. There's a lot of good stuff that comes out of Vault. Obviously, we've talked about the Nasty. We had John Lees on a while back, and there have been other Vault books that we've talked about. But Barbaric may be the best thing that's come out of there. I don't know if I hesitate to say ever, just because we haven't read everything from Vault, but it's one of their better books ever. And obviously, it's just spawned into this like ever growing universe where it was like 3 issue series, I think, to start. Then we got Money Shot Comes Again, issue 3. Then we got Titan, Doctor Who Special 2023, issue 1. That's by Dan Slott with Chris Jones and Matthew Dow Smith on art. I'm just going to go through all these, Joe, so you can catch your breath before you got to do Marvel again. Ablaze, Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac, Time Odyssey, issue 1 by Masami Kurama.
Tighten up the fucking title, please. Jesus Christ.
Arnaud, Dang it. Arnaud Dolan, Jerome Alcuy, and then Jerome Alcuy he's a writer and an artist on this series. Dynamite, Disney Villains, Maleficent, issue 4, Red Sonja, issue 2, King Kong, The Great War, issue 3, Betty Page, issue 3. Then Disney Villains, another series of that, Hades, issue 1 by Elliot Kalan and Alessandro Rinaldi. Then from Source Point Press to round things up, Joe's favorite, Franklin and Ghost, issue 4.
Or Franklin and Bash.
Yes. Hope issue 3, and then Hack Slash versus Seance Room issue 1 by Ben Goldsmith and Dustin Irvin.
Jeez, I thought we were on the last week, and I'm like, oh, we're making great time here. Oh, gee,
No,
no,
no, we're
we
not.
we got some more cooking to do. Okay, so the week of the 23rd of August, we have from Marvel, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 32, Venom issue 24, X-Force issue 43, Deadpool issue 10, Invincible Iron Man issue 9, Star Wars Dr. Aphra issue 35, which they played a prominent role in the last issue of Darth Vader series. Moon Knight, City of the Dead issue 2, Daredevil and Echo issue 4, Black Panther issue 3, Storm issue 4, Planet of the Apes issue 5, and then a ton of number ones. I'll read through them real quick. We have Realm of X issue 1, Jean Grey issue 1, Captain America finale issue 1. We have Immortal Thor issue 1, written by Al Ewing with art by Martin Coccolo. We have Marvel Unleashed issue 1, written by Kyle Starks with art by Jesus Huervas. And then we have Fantastic Four annual issue 1.
So, a couple of quick things. Marvel Unleashed, Kyle Starks. Okay, like if it's Kyle Starks, I want to give it a look at least. It's Craven Unleashes the Beasts, when Craven abducts Lockjaw at the same time. Local scientist mixed with AIM goes missing. It's up to Throg, the Frog of Thunder, Redwing, the Falcon, Chewie, the Cat Flarkin. Like I would normally not read this, but if Kyle Starks is writing this, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Then the Jean Grey and Realm of X, again, just for the sake of housekeeping for everybody, these both tie into the Fall of X series. So definitely stuff that, at least to have on your radar. I don't know if you are going to want to read it. Then from DC Comics, we have Dark Knights of Steel issue 12 from the week of the 23rd, which is supposed to be the end. But somebody asked Tom Taylor on Twitter if there was going to be more in the Dark Knights of Steel world, and he replied with the quote tweet and like that grin. So there may be some more Dark Knights of Steel shit that we're going to get at some point. So
I wouldn't be surprised if there were some spin-offs or something. You know what I mean?
It'd be kind of almost dumb if they didn't do it. I mean, Tom Taylor is so good, and there's so much, like, you can have so much fun here.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You can take this in any number of directions for show.
Then we got Night Terrors issue 4, Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow issue 5, The Riddler year 1 issue 6. Is this the finale or is it 8 issues?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
All right. Batman, The Brave and the Bold issue 4. Making me fucking wait on this book, and I can't even know when it's going to end.
I think it's 6.
I'm just fucking with you.
I think it's 6 now that I think of it.
Unstoppable.
I'm not sure.
Unstoppable Doom Patrol issue 5. Then we got a few Night Terrors here. Detective Comics issue 2, Titans issue 2, Action Comics issue 2, Harley Quinn issue 2, Angel Breaker issue 2. Then there's Batman Beyond Neo Gothic issue 2, which I didn't check out the first one. Maybe I will go back and do that just so I can let the people know. But then Batman The Adventure Continues season 3 issue 7, DC RWBY issue 7, and then the Penguin story we were talking about. Right, Tom.
So I think that's Ruby. It's the way it's pronounced.
Oh, Ruby. Okay.
I think so. I'm not 100%, but I think.
Okay. DC Ruby issue 7. And then it's Penguin issue. We got Penguin issue 1, as I mentioned, by Tom King and Raphael De La Torre. Revenge is for the birds, Joe.
Yeah, no, thank you. But it is, because they're assholes. From Image, we have King Spawn issue 25. Ice Cream Man issue 36, The Scorched issue 21, Undiscovered Country issue 25, Rogue Sun 15, No One issue 5, Newburn issue 10, The Bone Orchard Mythos Tenement issue 3, Time Before Time issue 26, The Dead Lucky issue 8, Indigo Children issue 6, Battle Chasers issue 12, Dead Romans issue 6, Click Click Boom issue 3, Terror War issue 5, Immortal Sergeant issue 8, and Scrapper issue 2. Now, one quick before I get to the number one here, which we'll talk about in just a little bit more detail, is that like the past couple of weeks, like the early month of August, Image books have just kind of been very slow. And not a lot of bang, here it is. Holy smokes. That's going to be a busy week for us, especially with the number one that's dropping. We had Ryan Stegman on our program not too long ago to talk about this title, The Schlub Issue 1, written by Ryan Stegman as well as Kenny Porter, with art by Tyrell Cannon. Vanish artist, writer Ryan Stegman and Superboy writer Kenny Porter team up with Beef Bros artist Tyrell Cannon for a new action comedy series featuring colors by Mike Spicer and lettering by John J. Hill. Failing dentist Roger Dalton blames the world for his problems until he is body swiped with the world's greatest superhero. Can Roger save Earth and finally prove to his family that he's not a loser? Or are we all doomed? Love this first issue. Love talking to Ryan about this. You're definitely going to want to check this one out.
Yep. If you didn't already put it on your pull list, that way you can get it ahead of the FOC. I would still let your local comic shop know that you're going to want this. It's going to be, the first issue was a fun ride, and it's good table setter. I think things are just going to get freaking batshit crazy with the second issue. And as we now know officially, that Ryan Stegman did base the character of Roger on a one Joe Gilmore.
Yeah. Yeah, he took one look at me at last year's Boston Fan Expo and goes, I should design a character after that second shit.
Yes. By the way, for any of our New England listeners, if you're going to be at Boston Fan Expo on Friday, do send us a DM because I will
give the date, because depending on when they're listening to this.
Oh, yeah. So it's the first Friday of August. So it's the 4th, I believe.
Yeah, not to timestamp it or anything.
Yes, not the timestamp, but August 4th. If you guys are there on that Friday, feel free to send us a DM because I will be there. Would love to say hi to any of our listeners.
And if you see Friar, punch him in the face.
Don't do that, please. Have you seen what people are doing to singers?
Yes. Oh, you think you're Cardi B?
No, but I think they'll think, I can get away with this shit. He's just a jackass. Yeah. Had a bet incorrectly. Anyways, then we got Boom, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 111, which the good time to be a Power Rangers reader. And again, I say this all the time. If you like Power Rangers as a kid and like you've been wanting to scratch that itch for a long time, read Power Rangers. Go back, check out like the start of Kyle Higgins' run. There's a lot there. There's a lot, but it's worth it. And if you really don't want to, if you can't go back that far, Shattered Grid is a good place to start as well. But I'm telling you, if you like Power Rangers, it's like awesome stuff with the Boom comics. Then we got Creed, The Next Round, issue 3. And then, Joe, a book that you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, Magic Planewalkers Notorious, issue 1, written by Cullen Bunn and Rich Duick, with art by French Carlamango and Carlos Pedro. So we love Bunn's work. We love Doak's work. We love Carlamango's work. I'm not familiar with Carlos Pedro, but, I think you and I, we both sort of dabbled, over the past couple of years with some Magic books, but I've recently gotten back into it. I've been collecting the Lord of the Rings cards.
Yes.
Like with a fervor.
I got to send you those pictures of the ones I got too, because I'm in on it too.
Yeah, because I got Tom Bombadil.
Did I get you in on it, or did you pick them up before?
No, we got them together on the way back from your.
No, because party. I had picked some up before that.
Yeah, and you said let's stop at the comic shop and let's get some cards, and so I've now got a case for my cards. I'm starting to.
I want full credit for you getting back into that shit.
Yeah, I just fucking gave it to you, bro. Come on. So I bought a nice little box, for my cards. It's starting to come back because I don't think I've played this. I don't think I've played Magic since middle school. So that would have been 93, 94, 94, 95, 95, long fucking time ago. But I've been dabbling with the online, right? With the app. And so you can, you get the little QR, whatever the code. But anyways, so like my Magic the Gathering itch has been being scratched a little bit. So I'll check this out. But also, mostly because Cullen Bunn, French Carlamango, are two guys, two creators that we love dearly. So that's it from Boom. From Dark Horse, we have The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue 3. Issue 2 came out. The first week of August. Absolutely, it's a James Tynion idea written by Tate Bromble, who Tate Bromble did some House of Slaughter stuff early on in the first arc. So it's been a great series. Stranger Things, Tales from Hawkins, issue 3. And I'll just run through. You know what? Let me run through the rest of these. Let me give you a little break here, Nicholas.
Cool.
From IDW, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Stranger Things issue 2, Star Trek issue 11, Earth Divers issue 9, The Rocketeer in the Den of Thieves issue 2, and Catfight issue 3. We have the Addams Family, the Bodies issue 1. We have Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the Scorpius run issue 1. And we have Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King issue 1. As well as My Little Pony Classics Reimagined, The Unicorn of Odd issue 1. And then from AWA, our good friends there, Ribbon Queen issue 2. I can't wait to hear you talk about this because that first issue sounded fucking bananas. And a cover that I know Sheldon did. He did for issue 1 was also fucking crackers. From Titan, we have Blade Runner 2039 issue 6. From Ablaze, we have The Mighty Barbarians issue 5. From Dynamite, we have Darkwing Duck issue 8, Vampirella versus the Superpowers issue 4, Victory issue 3, Starfinder Angels of the Drift issue 2, and then last we have from Source Point Press Murder by Mail issue 3. That takes us to the last week of August. That would be the 30th. And from Marvel, for Marvel standards, a later week, Nicholas. A later week. We have Wolverine issue 36. That was another book I caught up on. Wolverine, right? Man, tremendous. Ultimate Invasion issue 3. The Incredible Hulk issue 3. Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue 37. Blade issue 2. Death of the Venomverse issue 3. Man, they're really. Are we gonna get 3 issues in 1 month here? Or
I don't. I think there's a mistake.
I think this is a Comic Geeks snafu. So take this with a grain of salt. Deadpool, Batter Blood issue 3. Cult of Carnage Misery issue 4. Danny Ketch Ghost Rider issue 4. Star Wars The Mandalorian season 2 issue 3, and then Spider-Man India issue 3. And then the number ones for Marvel, the last week of August, we have the Moon Knight Annual issue 1. We have Marvel Age number 1000. And then a number one you want to touch on briefly, Miss Marvel, the New Mutant issue 1, written by Sabir Perzada and Ayman Vellani, with art by Miss Marvel. Oh, Miss Marvel.
I got you, Joe. Carlos
you
Gomez.
Take it over.
Yeah. But I do want to note too, Ghost Rider. I did catch up on that one. That was one I was like an issue behind. I didn't read it the week it came out. Awesome stuff there. Like Danny Ketch story, just if Ben Purser was writing it, we probably would like it a little bit more. But yes, Miss Marvel, the New Mutant issue 1 by Sabir Perzada and then Imani Vellani. With art by Carlos Gomez, not the outfielder, and Adam Goro. Yes, maybe helpful for your immaculate grid. I think he was today. Did you play Carlos Gomez? Somebody did.
I'm pretty sure I played Cargo. Yeah,
I think it was you who did in the Astros Brewers spot. But the Iman Vellani is the actress who plays Miss Marvel in the Disney Plus show. So this is, again, according to League of Comic Geeks. I haven't seen the announcement for this. This also ties into the Fall of X. So I'm going to give this a shot. And I love seeing actors and actresses get, joining the mix with characters that they're involved in, especially when they do a good job with the characters. I know we see, like, we had Keanu Reeves writing comics and Emilia Clarke writing comics. I think I saw that Andy Samberg's got something coming out too. If I'm not mistaken.
He's got something cooking. And then what's his name there? The actor that played the Riddler has been doing an excellent job.
So those are all like random ones. But Paul Dano played the Riddler. He played the Riddler very well, and you've been enjoying that series. Now I see them doing this with Iman Vellani, and it's like, okay, she knows Miss Marvel. She did a good job. So I'm probably going to check this out. And Kamala Khan is in a interesting position. Kamala Khan is back, and she's an X-Man. That's right. The good news is that fresh off her world-saving death, Kamala has been brought back via Krakoan resurrection technology. What a way to learn she's a mutant. The bad news is her debut at the Hellfire Gala didn't go exactly as planned. And that's another thing where it's like, you start with that, which I think we knew was coming. And of course, it makes sense for what's going on in the MCU. But like, that was like the first thing. It's like, okay, like, we're learning this. We're getting to this pretty quickly. Like, there's got to be some serious shit coming in. And then it's like, damn. Like again, if I and Miss Marvel, if I'm her, I'm like, why the fuck am I an X-Men? Like, I do not want to be a mutant right now. This is a weird fucking time, but I am ready for it. I am excited to check this out. From DC on the final week of August, we got Sandman Universe, Nightmare County, The Glass House, issue 4, Night Terrors, Night's End, issue 1. This is the Night Terrors finale. That's by Josh Williamson and Howard Porter. We got Action Comics presents Doomsday Special Issue 1 by Dan Waters and Eddie Barrows. I'm confused by this. Gnort's Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, issue 1, various creators on that one. Catwoman Uncovered, and now take it easy after hearing Swimsuit. I know you over there, you're going to get excited. This is a collection of Catwoman covers. So we got Jenny Frison, who, I mean, like, one of the best cover artists in the business, Joelle Jones, Jeff DeCall, Tula Lotte, Micah Sozo, and Joshua Swaby are all the artists that I saw highlighted in this on League of Comic Geeks. So looks like it's going to be something that similar to Poison Ivy, where it wasn't like the Batman, that Batman book that I bought that was like double sized. I'm blanking on the artist's name for that. It's I would assume it's going to be like a regular sized comic, but still something kind of cool for if you're a Catwoman fan to go and pick up. But then there's one other book that you wanted to touch on. That's the first issue.
Yeah, a writer who knows what the hell he's doing when it comes to Batman and Catwoman.
Ooh.
And that's Batman, Catwoman, The Gotham War Battle Lines, issue 1, written by Chip Zdarsky and Teeny Howard, with art by Mike Hawthorne. I mean, if you've been reading Batman, you know what the dynamic between those two has been, especially through the multiverse. Chip is better equipped at this. He just really is.
Your Chip?
My Chip.
Or my Chip?
My Chip, our Chip.
Okay.
Everyone's Chip.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Chip should be celebrated everywhere. But I'm looking forward to this, giving this a go. I really liked how he tackled it too, and
it's tough to watch.
It is tough to watch. I'm having an old man moment, but anyways, I'm tired and I haven't had dinner yet. I'm hungry. My blood sugar's low. 5 weeks and a solicit really gets the best of me. But
it's tough.
Chip does a really good fucking job with Batman, with Catwoman, with the relationship. This is a Bat-Cat book that I'm actually looking forward to reading.
Nice. All right, I'm going to go through Image. You have a book in there that you want to talk about. Catch your breath, though. From Image, we got Saga 66, Nocterra, issue 16, World Tree, issue 5. Again, like one of the few books out there where Joe calls dibs, and I have like serious FOMO on this. There are times where like I want to read it, and it sucks that I have to wait, but this one's like killing me every time I see this title. I'm like, fuck, man. Radiant Black, issue 26, Monstrous, issue 47, Unnatural Blue Blood, issue 6, Per Evil, issue 2, The Savage Strength of Starstorm, issue 4, which I think is what I was mixing up with what you were talking about before, the other title.
I think so.
Then we got Kaptara, Universal Truths, issue 1 by Chip Zdarsky and Kagan McLeod. Just real quick, I'll read the first paragraph, Joe. Back because you demanded it. Yes, you. Don't you remember? We were having drinks and you said, hey, whatever happened to, was it Kaptana? So this is Chip Zdarsky joint. So something that I feel like maybe we missed out on.
He's been doing this on his Substack. Yep.
Okay. Look at that. How interesting. Okay, and then what else you got?
So we have Local Man Gold, issue 1, written by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks. And so Local Man is another book that I've got to talk to. I don't think I talked about on the show.
You haven't done Local Man. That's another one where like it's that borders on that FOMO line for me right now.
I got to talk about because this book is absolutely fantastic. So this sounds like it's the next arc. Jack comes face to face with his explosive past when his superhero alter ego is. I got to tell you something real quick. The copy and paste job you did, like the synopsis they had for League of Comic Geeks was brutal because they just kept combining words together.
That was my fault. That's not on them. That's on me. That's on me.
God damn it, Nicholas.
My bad.
So Jack comes face to face with his explosive past when his superhero alter ego is blasted into modern day Farmington, not Framingham.
That's on you.
That's on me. We were talking about fucking. Yeah, I don't want. Anyways, by a massive cosmic event. Now, Local Man has to get his younger, more extreme self back into his old time before he ruins what little life Jack has left. But it won't be easy. Crossjack isn't the only one who's landed in the wrong era, and they're both being hunted by a vengeful hero from the past. So, like, Local Man, if you haven't read it, go find it. I'm going to talk about it on the show again. Excellent series.
And I didn't see this originally because I'm not reading Local Man, so I'm like, why am I going to talk about this? Guest starring Cyberforce,
Oh
Street
yes,
Eagle, Love Everlasting, and then I don't know this one, Boof and the Bruise Crew.
I don't know
So,
that one,
but
but I know.
Cyberforce being in the mix, that's pretty freaking cool. So I'm excited to see what. I'm assuming that's going to be Ripclaw. I'm not sure who else that'll be, but that's pretty damn cool. All right, I'm going to finish this off so we can get going.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, boom. Alice Never After, issue 2. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, 30th anniversary special issue 1. The writers on this include Ryan Parrott, Matt Groom, Melissa Flores, Amy Jo Johnson. There's others as well and various artists. So going to be picking that up. Seems like a must pick up for any Power Rangers fan. Dark Horse, Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, issue 8. And then we got Black Hammer, The End, issue 1 by Jeff Lemire and Malaki Ward. I know you're going to be reading that one, Joe. IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter, issue 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures Continued, issue 4. The Hunger in the Dusk, issue 2. My Little Pony, Camp Big Hoof, issue 2. And then we got a few IDW Endless Summers. It's Endless Summer Adventures. There's TMNT Saturday Morning. We have Sonic the Hedgehog, Godzilla. I'm sorry, that's not. No, then Summer. That would be weird for Godzilla. Dungeons and Dragons, and then My Little Pony. So I think for younger readers, there's maybe some stuff to pick up. Obviously varying across the board. Then we got Godzilla Rivals Space Godzilla, issue 1. Not familiar with that. From Vault, The Picture of Everything Else, issue 4. First time I'm hearing of this title. I don't know about you. Then from Titan, Conan the Barbarian, issue 2. Ablaze, Traveling to Mars, issue 8. And then to round things out from Dynamite, we got Gargoyles, issue 9. 007 for King and Country, issue 5. Sirens Gate, issue 4. Draculina, Blood Simple, issue 5. Elvira in Monsterland, issue 4. And Deja Thoris, issue 6. And this may officially be the longest episode of TLDR ever. Joe has lost his vote. No, it's not.
No, not even close.
What's the
Hey,
longest one?
for a 5-week solicit, this was actually really good on time.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I feel like we're usually right around 120 on 5 weeks lists. I don't know why. Okay, whatever. I'm curious.
We're usually this long on regular solicits.
Not this 120. No,
Yeah. Go back, check the tape.
All right, I'll have to go back and do that.
Check the tape, Tony.
Next week, who knows what's popping up? Make sure you subscribe to the audio channels. It's the only way you're going to know for sure what's coming out next week. And again, leave a 5-star rating and review if it's Apple. Anywhere else, wherever the highest rating and review you can leave, please do so. Tell a fellow comic book reader. And Joe, until next week, stay sexy.
You know it.